Rachel Crothers was born in 1878 and died in 1958. Rachel Crothers was an American playwright and theater director known for her well-crafted plays that dealt with feminist themes. She is generally recognized as the most successful and prolific woman dramatist writing in the first part of the 20th century. Rachel Crothers' book was written during the American Progressive era. The main objectives of the progressive movements were eliminating problems caused by industrialization, urbanization, immigration, and political corruption. They also sought regulation of monopolies and corporations through antitrust laws, which were seen a way to promote equal competition of the advantage of legitimate competitors. The 1920s saw the culmination of 50 years of rapid American industrialization. New products seemed to burst from American production lines with the potential of revolutionizing American life. Other products that had previously been toys for the rich were now available to a majority of Americans. The standard of living increased as the economy grew stronger and stronger. The results were spectacular. During the Progressive era, more women took work outside the home. For the working class, this work was often a domestic servant. Yet working or not, women were expected to perform all the cooking and cleaning. This affected female domestic experiences of their homes, workplace, and possessions, while the male household members, comforted by the smells of home cooking, fresh laundry, and soaped floors, could have seen home as a refuge from work. Women would have associated these same smells with the labor that they expended to maintain order. It specifically tackles topics concerning masculinity and femininity, such as gender roles within a marriage and what it means to be a female artist in a patriarchal atmosphere. The subject is women liberation and equality between the sexes. The perspective is personal and familial, rather than social and political. The play was first introduced in 1911 but failed to survive through the production. She didn't abandon the project, and in 1920 there was another attempt to resurrect the play's production with Rachel herself playing the female lead, but it wasn't very popular. The play is about the Hertford family, a married couple, Anne and Tom, who are sculptors, and their daughter Millicent. Other important characters are Anne's friend Ruth, Tom's assistants Keith, and Anne's father Dr. Remington, and Tom's sister Daisy, who lives with them. The first act of the play is in the sculpturing studio. Tom is going to present one of his sculptures to a competition, and Anne offers him her sculpture because she thinks Tom's sculpture is a bit poor. Tom didn't accept Anne's sculpture because he considered his sculpture to be magnificent, so Anne decided to present her sculpture herself. At the same time, Ruth and Keith are a couple with a kind of problems. Keith wants to marry Ruth, but he wants her to stop working. He's a very traditional man who thinks that if he can maintain his wife, there's no reason for her to work. Along the play, he is constantly asking the rest of the characters their opinion on this issue. On the other hand, Ruth is also in love with Keith, but she is a strong and independent woman, and she wants to continue working. She thinks that there is no reason why she should stop working when they marry. And Keith thinks that her work is at home with her future children. Act 2, Anne and Tom are anxious for the results of the competition. During the wait, Ruth decides to break up with Keith because he made her choose between him and her work. And although she loves him, she prefers to be alone and follow her dreams than throwing everything away for a man. When the results come, everyone starts congratulating Tom because he's the man, although they haven't seen the results. When Tom opens the letter, he realizes that he's in the second place and that the winner is his wife, Anne. Anne is really happy and fascinated of that, while Tom feels humiliated and hurt. This caused a strife between Anne and Tom. Anne's father, Dr. Remington, is furious of what she has done to her husband. We can clearly see his position over the position of women in this part of the play. To make it even worse, Millicent, who should be at school, comes home and reveals her mother that she is not going to come back to school. The reason? She's in love with a chauffeur and she's going to marry him. Anne is worried because she thinks it is her fault, that she should have paid more attention to her daughter instead of her work. In Act 3, Anne decides to give up her award to take care of her daughter and letting her husband win. That's the end of the play. Anne is a feminist, independent, empowered, and strong woman. She wouldn't never stop working because a man told her, but she finally took that decision to take care of her daughter, who she considered to be the most important thing of her life. I don't consider this character less feminist for doing that, but I think everybody has his own priorities, and the fact that she chooses her daughter doesn't make her a non-feminist woman, because in the play she has shown her independence and power. On the other hand, Tom, who firstly seemed to be very liberal when Keith asked him about his position on the fact that if women should or should not work, he's defeated by his wife and he feels hurt. He says he's happy for her, but he actually feels humiliated. Why? Because a woman has shown that she is better doing anything than a man. And when Anne decided to give up her award, he breathes again. Not because he's the winner, because Anne is going to do what a perfect woman should do, what is staying at home and taking care of the children. Daisy was not a really relevant character in the development of the play, but in the women issue, her position wasn't pretty feminist. She thought that women were able to work, but when they were single. If they marry, they should abandon their work and take care of the home and the children. She also showed her position when the letter of the competition arrived. Before the letter was opened, she congratulated her brother. Why? Because for men are better than women, and she's a traditional woman. She seems to be independent, but she's single. Probably if she married, she will change her character. Dr. Remington is an old traditional man. When Anne won the competition, he started accusing her for humiliating her husband. He's not happy that his daughter has won. He's worried that the masculinity of his son-in-law has been offended, and that a woman has demonstrated to be better than a man. About Keith, he seemed to be the most traditional and chauvinist character on the play. His commentaries like, "She does a beautiful work for a woman, but you get, she's not in this class," show a perfect vision of his thought. Ruth is the strong, feminist, hard-working character. She's the kind of woman that never surrenders, and she prefers breaking up with her boyfriend than being the subject of her boyfriend's thoughts. Finally, Millicent, she's not pretty important at the beginning of the play, but then she became an important subject. She shows that she is also a traditional girl. She wants to quit school because she's in love, and in addition, she didn't agree that her mother spent time working on her sculptures. To conclude, this play shows a clear view of women in the beginning of the 20th century. Some of them were traditional and preferred to be below the husband, while some others started empowering themselves. It was the beginning of our current position, and it is thanks to these women who thought of themselves that we are now free to choose what we want. Although the end of the play was not expected, because after all Anne decided to abandon everything for her daughter, instead of continue fighting for her dreams. Rachel Crothers shows that women were able to choose, to decide upon her lives, that they were no longer under the husbands, and if they were, it was because it was the decision.